Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the 7th ENLIGHT and Arqus Alliance Open Science Ambassador webinar. We are very happy you are here attending this webinar. As you know, the ENLIGHT and the Arqus Alliance are both alliances that try to bring together several universities across Europe to learn from each other and to improve and be better in our works. I think the future of the European universities are meant to work together and improve our society. We're very happy, as I said, you are here to learn, to continue learning and continue working on the open science topic. We consider that it is a very relevant topic for the future of Europe. And we're very happy also to announce our next webinar entitled Repositories for a Sustainable, Equitative, and Innovative Open Access Published. And we have the pleasure to have with us Eloy Rodrigues. Eloy Rodrigues is the library director of the University of Minho, and he has been working on open access for more than 20 years. He has been promoting repositories, as in fact he's been chair of the Confederation of Open Access Repositories, and also he's a board of the OpenAIRE, and the OpenAIRE organization. So I would like to upload to this speaker, and thank you very much, Eloy, for being with us today. So let's start when you are ready.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, all. Let me try to share my screen. Are you seeing the screen already? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So thank you very much for the invitation to participate on this webinar. Also thanks especially to Michaela, that was who initially invited me. Minho University is one of the Arqus Alliance universities, so it's really a pleasure to be here with you today. I'll be talking about the role of repositories on the present and the future of scholarly communication, and I just want to start with a very short historical overview of repositories, and that bring us to what is the situation today. As many of you certainly know, repositories are around since the 90s. The first one was repository created was Archive, that was created in 1991. And then the number of repositories was kind of low until around the millennium. And in 1999, there was a meeting in Santa Fe that was where the protocol, the OAIPMH, is a very important protocol because it's a protocol that allows to connect and aggregate from repositories, was defined. And at that time, still there was only a kind of a few dozen of repositories existing. I think most of them, or if not all of them, were disciplinary repositories. But then in 2000, the first repository software was released, ePrints. And in 2002, as certainly you know, it was the kind of the big bang of open access, formally definition of open access with the Budapest Declaration in February. And then at the end of that year, DSpace, the other software platform that is now the most used platform in repositories, was also released in November. And on the following decade, roughly between 2003 and 2013, it was the big wave of creation of repositories, and thousands of repositories, mostly institutional, were established. There is it's difficult to know how many repositories currently exist. I think the best data that we have, and there are several initiatives working on this, is that probably there are probably around 5,500 repositories that are online, so that are available. There are more repositories registered in some registries, but some of them are not online anymore. And from those 5,500, around 2,000 are in Europe. We hope that we can get in the coming year. I know that there is some work being done also in the context of COAR to have a better registry of current repositories. So from those 2,000, as I said, we have 2,000 repositories in Europe. And during this period, repositories have shown that they are really an important component of the scholarly communication infrastructure, and an important way to foster open access. But we also know that there are some problems and limitations. And so in the end of I think the end of December 2022 or early 2023, uh, uh, the Confederation of Open Access Repositories, LIBER, SPARC Europe, and OpenAIRE, as it was said on the presentation, I'm still participating on CORE, but I'm not having any position there. But now I'm on the board of OpenAIRE, and I've been working on this initiative from the side of OpenAIRE. We decided to launch an initiative to strengthen the European repository network. And the objectives of that initiative was really to reinforce and enhance European repositories, to support the open science and the vision of knowledge commons, that I will come back again more in the end. And because this vision of a knowledge common is depend of a well functioning repository network, of repositories that can provide both to humans and to machines, and it is more and more important, the interface and use from machines, especially for AI applications, etc., to the research outputs that are hosted in repositories. This vision and objectives are very well aligned with the objectives of the organizations, both the core vision of the global knowledge commons and the initiative that was launched several years ago of the next generation repositories, with the current strategic priorities of OpenAIRE that have defined. And so I think it's aligned with all the strategic priorities, but we can say that is probably especially aligned with the priorities 1 and 4, so the infrastructure for open scholarly communication and the innovation in research communications and dissemination, and is also very well aligned with LIBER's vision of research libraries, where advancing open science is really also a big priority. And the first activity that was performed was a survey of European repositories that was conducted in February-March of 2023. And we get, I think, a good response rate. So we get more than 400 responses. So roughly 25% of the existing repository, so it was not bad. But there are some problems. Some of were duplicated or incomplete, etc. So we end up having a little bit less than 400 responses that we analyzed, and those come from 34 countries. That was also an interesting representation, I think a good representation of the repository landscape in Europe. And as you can see, almost three-quarters of of the replies that we get were from university repositories, from institutional repositories hosted in universities, but we had also several from research centers, and also a significant percentage of all very different and diverse organizations. I will only highlight three or four main results from the survey. You can the report is available on Zenodo. I think I have the link to the full report here on the slides. Just want to highlight two or three things, as I said. One is the size of repository collection. So there is a huge variety on the size of repositories, from very small repositories with 1,000 or even less than 1,000 documents to very big repositories. I think the biggest repository reported 8 million research outputs. I think it was Europe Med Central. But then if we make the average, the institutional repositories have around 65,000 records. Sorry, and the other repositories, mostly disciplinary on data or national repositories, collect around a little bit less than 400,000 objects. But together, we can say that European repositories collect dozens or hundreds of millions of research objects. So they are really an important asset for open science and for scholarly communication. And if we look into the most predominant content types in repositories, no surprise that research articles are dominant, but also most repositories have thesis and dissertation. Half of them have conference proceedings, and then there are very diverse also other types of research objects. For instance, around 20%, a little bit more than 20%, also hosted research data. By the way, on the replies, we have repositories that were only data, repositories that were only publications, and repositories that have both data and publications. And 14% of repositories also hosted preprints. One aspect that I think it's important to highlight is also repositories secure language diversity. Of course, the most common language is English, even on non-English speaking countries, or at least in some non-English speaking countries. But as you can see, the national languages are also very well represented in the repositories of each country, and this issue of diversity is also a thing that that we really need to value and cherish. And finally, the last point that I want to highlight from the results of the survey was the staffing, and as you can see, there are repositories have kind of limited staffing. So most repositories, especially institutional repositories, have up to two FTE equivalents, so two full-time persons, and then that is especially the case for institutional repositories, and only a very few repositories have more than 8 full-time persons working on them. And if we look at the time, we also asked about the type of task and the responsibilities of those staff, and almost half of the work was focused on metadata and content curation, and less than 20% were technical support. So even and this is especially a problem, for instance, for institutional repositories, because again, if you have just two full-time equivalent persons and have 20% for technical support, that means that you have very little time for technical support, or very little effort for technical support on your repository. So the main conclusions and takeaways uh, from the survey is that and I already in a way make that this point that repositories in Europe acquire, preserve, and provide open access to possibly hundreds of millions of research outputs, and so they really represent a critical infrastructure, and a not-for-profit infrastructure for the European open science landscape. And the second aspect that is also important and positive on the positive side is that as most repositories are based at universities, and because universities are long-lived institutions, they are they are also they are also kind of sustainable, and the indications that we have is that especially from usage data, etc., the collections of those repositories are being well used by not only by the research community, but beyond. And for instance, we know that repository content is now also being used for training LLMs, etc. But we also find some challenges, and again try to summarize here the main challenges. And kind of in a way, surprisingly, the main challenge, it was really technical. Is the especially for institutional repositories, and probably especially on the uh, smaller institutions and countries where there are no repository networks, is that the difficulty on maintaining updated and well-functioning software platforms. So, for instance, updating repository, the software, or for instance, DSpace, in some cases is a challenge. In some repositories are still running in older versions of the software because there are problems on maintaining an updated version. Then the second challenge is really also to apply on a consistent and comprehensive way the good practices in terms of metadata preservation and the usage statistics. And finally, last but not least, and probably this is also probably one of the most uh, it's also the reason for instance for the question of the limitations of staffing, etc., is the gaining the appropriate visibility in scholarly ecosystem. As I mentioned, you can read the full report here on the node. So this is the situation that we have analyzed and understand from the results from the survey. I will move on now, talk a little bit about the current situation and the of scholarly communication, and then I will come back at the end to the strategy that we are working on to strengthen the repository networks. So I think the current scholarly communication system, you are certainly very well familiar with all this. Traditionally, we say that there are two main routes to open access. One, it's what it's usually called green open access through repository, through self-archiving literature into repositories, and the gold open access that initially was not really a synonym of paying to publish, but it has become, in a way, now when we talk about gold open access, we talk about open access on the journal side, and for most people, when we talk about gold open access, we are talking about APCs and pay to publish, even if strictly that this is not true, because gold open access, the gold and green is only about where and who provides the open access. In green, it is the author, and it is on repositories. In gold, it is the journal, it is the editor or the publisher, and it is on the journal. But of course, in the last years, all this has become much more complex, and now I don't really, I must say that I don't really appreciate using a lot of colors and designation, but really there is a, 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 a big variety of possibilities and practices regarding open access. And for instance, it has emerged, Diamond Open Access has emerged on the last 3 or 4 years, uh, uh, to exactly to separate from Gold Open Access. And Diamond Open Access is open access that is provided mainly also in journals or through journals, but without APCs, so without where people have access to the content and there are no charges for authors. So this is the very kind of diverse and in a way a little bit confusing landscape. But I think it remains, and this is true in most cases, that the main functions of journals and on scholarly communication, they remain, and they remain, and these are, I think this is also kind of well known, the function of registration. So when I do some research and I have some results, I want to share it, but I want to register that I have obtained these results. So I want credit for that. So I need to register my results. So the recognition of my intellectual primacy, certification through peer review. So say that this result is scientifically sound, it's valid. And then dissemination. So I want my result to be known for the wider potential research community. And then the archiving. So I want my result to be preserved, to be can be reused, and for the future. And there is a kind of the record of science and research. And these four functions are done this jointly by journals, and this has not really changed even with the digital transition, and we still, this needs to be done jointly on the print world. So when journals were printed, this this is this made sense, and it was there was no other way to do it. In the digital world, as I will come back to that, we can do it differently. But I think in most cases we just put the technology on top of the workflows and the methods that we used, and really did not change at all, mostly the practice. So in a way, we just had put technologies into old processes, not taking all the opportunity to change it. And I will come back to this in a few minutes. So despite all this, and despite all the possible the complexity of the route to open access and to open science, I think I think we can really say that there are two main possible scenarios. Of course, the world is not black and white, and we might have some nuances, but I really think that there are two main scenarios. And in fact, let me stress this. After this initial movement of creation of repositories from on the essentially on the first decade of this century, uh, uh, especially after 2012 and the Finch report in the UK and several other founders, there was a kind of a strong shift towards gold open access and paying and using gold open access and based on APCs to transform the system and to really shift to open access. And there was this focus, and we are still living probably maybe I'm hopefully at least from my side, maybe we are also living the last days of that strong push for this solution of transformation the model from subscriptions to publications charges. And but this is still a very strong there is still a very strong push, and this is still really a strong possibility that the transformation will end up to be like this. And there is the other uh, 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 scenario that is the one that I personally and I think also the organizations that are working on this initiative are trying to promote is trying to use more diverse, alternative, and innovative models in scholarly communication. Uh, there is because I think there we have already some evidence and some reasoning why the transformation of the model, just the economic transformation of the model, is not good enough. In a way, it's really can be really dangerous because there is the risk of continued cost increases and unsustainability. There is a risk to quality because in the current model, in the model based in APCs, income is dependent on the number of publications. So there is a strong incentive to publish more and more because from the publisher side, because it's the revenue is dependent on the number of publications. There are problems of participation and the equity, both for regions, institutions, or disciplines with less funding, and there is a risk of increased concentration in the publishing market. And we have, in a way, we have some evidence on all this. And as I said, there is a growing recognition and understanding that maybe this is not a good idea. This is a screenshot of the keynote of Chris Berg on the LIBER conference last year, not last year, in 2023 already in Budapest, and so even for very rich, wealthy organizations like MIT, if they realize that this is probably not a good solution. And again, we have evidence that despite the argument of some of the people that have been supporting the transformation of the model through APCs, that the costs will be would be controlled or even lower. The evidence that we have is not on exactly the opposite, is that the costs are still rising. And for instance, this paper that was published in the end of, I think, October or September of 2024, there was an estimate that the APC overall, the APC costs almost tripled from 2019 to 2023, and the median APC also has been is around $2,500 for gold journals, and more than 3,600 around $3,600 for hybrid APCs. So the costs are not really being controlled. And regarding transformative agreements and transforming current journals through open access, the evidence is that also they are not working, or they are not working at least at the pace that was expected. And this is the results from the report from Coalition S, from the journals that have been participated on the program of Coalition S of the to comply with Coalition S requirements, and from the report that was published already in 2023, I think, and with the data that they collected until the end of 2022, uh, uh, only 26 or 1% of journals have flipped to open access, and only 30% of the journals have met the OR target. So the percentage of OR, open access publications that they have established, and 68% have failed to meet that target. More recently, in April of 2024, so about a little bit less than a year ago, there was a report, a study about the transformative agreements in the UK. They call it transitional agreements, and one of the conclusions that if the current journal flipping rate will observe between 2018 and 2022, it would take at least 70 years for the big five publishers to flip all their subscription titles to open access. So it's really not working, or this is not working as expected. And I think also because of this, there is a growing momentum for sustainable and innovative open access. One of the most prominent initiatives was the document and the vision set out by Coalition S, that was called Towards Publishing, Responsible Publishing, that is really promoting this more innovative publication models, where authors really control when and where to publish, promoting the use of preprint, new models of peer review. So what I think also kind of align with this model of Publish-Review-Curate, where authors start to publish to make a preprint available. Then that preprint can eventually be reviewed and commented by peers, and it may end up being published or accepted or endorsed by a journal or other type of service. And this vision of Coalition as that there was a consultation during 2023 and 2024, and the results of that consultation were published in I think on the summer of 2024, and now I think very soon Coalition S will come up with a kind of a plan based in this vision. But again, this vision is really moving away from traditional APC based push for open access to promote more innovative models of communication and publishing. It is also aligned with diamond open access. So with open access, where there are no APC payments, and Coalition has also been involved on the promoting diamond open access. And from the European Union, and there was a very important document also from May 2023. This conclusion of for high quality, transparent, open, trustworthy, and equitable scholarly publishing. And there are several highlights here. One is the importance of investing in infrastructures, digital and innovative tools. So this kind of the innovation, and also the also promoting the variety of models that do not depend on article processing charges or similar per unit charges, uh, uh, and also stresses the importance of supporting development of such models, and encourages member states to invest in interoperable not-for-profit infrastructures for publishing. So again, it's uh, also align both with diamond open access, not no non-commercial open access, and also through innovation in scholarly communication. And one of the things that also the conclusions promote is that they encourage member states to support Open Research Europe to create a large-scale open access publishing services. And we know that there are several funders from different member states that are now getting together around ORE, and will be another uh, life of ORE in the coming years, with not only with the support of European Commission but also from other funders. Another significant move was also in 2024 is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and they changed their open access policy. They will stop to support, starting now in 2025, they will start to stop to support paying APCs. So authors cannot use the grants from Bill and Melinda Gates to pay APCs, and the requirement is that they submit submit a preprint. They publish preprint. So the requirement is not they have a kind of what is called the version of record. Maybe we can have the 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 discussion on this at the end, but that the authors that receive grants from Bill and Melinda Gates need to publish a preprint in a preprint server or repository, and and if they want to publish then on a journal that uses APCs, they of course they can do it, but they will not can use the grant money to do it. Uh, and so I think with this we have seen so this push for a kind of a paradigm shift in scholarly communication, in a way kind of merging gold and green open access, gold in a way of open access from on journals, and green open access in repositories, or you can say green and diamond if we want to separate clear that we are not talking about paying APCs here, through what is called overlay services and overlay journals, and also adopting this new model of open review curate with open peer review and what decoupled peer review, where there are services that the perform peer review that are not attached or cannot be really directly attached to journals. And if you remember that image that I showed initially, of the four functions of journals and publishing, we are there this opportunity of really decoupling the functions that need to be performed by the same entity on the printed world that can be decoupled on the digital world, and repositories can perform the two the initial and the final function, if we can say this, so registration and archiving, and then there we can have independent services that can be journals or other types of services, and we are already seeing different types of services that can perform certification, so peer review, etc., and dissemination. And in fact, we are seeing huge in the last, especially during and after the pandemic. There was really an emergence of this ecosystem based on preprints and this overlay and decouple and open peer review, and these are only some of the services that are in place, and there are several others that are being used for this purpose. So getting back and trying to finish, I'm already a little bit over time, but I think I can finish in 5 minutes. Uh, 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 the, Based also on the results on the survey and on this context that I already in a way I've mentioned. So this increasing recognition of the limitations and problems of commercial and fee-based models, and the need to invest in not-for-profit and community infrastructure and services, and also this growing interest and support to innovative approaches like the Publish-Review-Curate model. And also, and I think this is very important, this movement towards reform of research assessment with COAR, where COAR is really a cornerstone, uh, that want to promote the recognizing the diversity of activities and contributions and output. So not only the article, the published article, but also preprints, the peer reviews, data, software, protocols, etc. I think there is really an opportunity for a renewed and reinforced importance of repositories. And so we have agreed to work in this. We already started into 2024, and we'll be working during this year of 2025 in three main areas. One is mostly advocacy, so highlighting the value of repositories, so and advocating the role that repositories have in Europe. And then the two others are more kind of practical. One is to propagate best practices for repositories and assist with the creation and coordination of national networks, because one of the things that we have realized, I think I commented that in the beginning, is that there are exceptions, of course, and the situation is a little bit more complex than what I will say here. But in general, we see that repositories, the situation of individual repositories is better in countries where there are some kind of coordination or network or aggregation services of repositories, because that also helps to create communities and strengthen repositories, individual repositories. So in general, those countries where we have this kind of coordination networks, aggregation of repositories individually are better than in countries where each repository lives in a kind of isolation. So we think that assisting with creation or coordination of national initiatives is important. For the advocacy part, we are kind of advanced. We already have a draft, and I think maybe, I don't know, even now in January or probably early in February, we will have a position paper that will be published, and we want to make the case that repositories are critical and are very important both for impact, for equity, for trust, and for innovation. I will not go over it here on the now, and hopefully you will see soon this position paper. And then the other two aspects, more practical aspects, we probably will need to have some kind of resources to do it. And we had a proposal that was submitted last year to the European Commission. It was not where OpenAIRE has been promoting that proposal, also with the collaboration of COAR and several other partners, including some universities, like for instance my university, Minho. But the proposal was not selected, but it was very, very well evaluated. The proposal got 14.5 in 15. So I think it's the first time that I saw that a proposal with that rate was not selected, because there was another proposal that got 15 in 15. But I think many of the ideas on the proposal are still very valid, and we are trying to identify some other possibilities to fund. At least some of the work needs to be funded. Some of the work, maybe we organizations like OpenAIRE and LIBER and SPARC Europe can do some minimal work with their own resources, but really we need to have some funding to really do it. So to conclude, the vision that is being promoting is really to repositioning repositories for innovation, sustainability, and academic governance of scholarly communication system. In a way, it's back to the past, to the origins. This is a citation of Paul Ginspark, the creator of Archive, in 1991. In 1994, in one paper, in a way, he set out this vision of using repositories as the foundation for a more innovative and open scholarly communication with overlay services on top of content of repositories. And on the paper from Rain Crown about institutional repositories in 2002. Again, there was this vision of repositories providing a central component for reforming scholarly communication by stimulating innovation and disaggregated publishing structure. So in a way, this is really not new, but maybe it was the time, it was probably too early 30 and 20 years ago, but maybe it's not too early to do it now, where we can really use repositories to connect all the different research outputs and try to create these global knowledge commons. Here I left some links about this, and also about one project that I'm working on. It's a Notify project, where we are trying to also to create the technology or the standards that will facilitate the interconnection between these different systems and repositories and overlay services on this distributed scholarly communication landscape. Thank you very much, and I'm now available for questions. And sorry, because I took a little bit more. I took around 40 minutes for my presentation.
It's perfect. Thank you very much, Eloy, for your presentation. Very